we have a lot of little subjects to talk about. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. There's three subjects I want to talk about, and a lot of things has been going on lately, such as people actually wanting, EA to drop what is it, Star Wars. People are pissed about that shit, about that canceled open world game. Absolutely pissed. Um, there's been other things too. Mortal Kombat came out, and everybody, I mean, it looks really good, really, really good. Um, that's actually something I do want to talk about is the Mortal Kombat game, but I'm not going to make it a big thing about it. And the reason why I'm not going to make it a big story is because I wanted to talk about something specific. Um, so before I even go into my topic at hand, let me just take a look here. I apologize for not having my shit ready. And this is basically me just, talking about it. Just talk about the shit that's been going on. I will say that there's been talk about Kojima, right? And how Kojima visited Guerrilla Games, because if you don't know, Guerrilla Games lent them their engine, which they are, improving for their own game, which is Death Stranding. So that's Kojima Productions. But there's been talk around the internet stating how Guerrilla Games they're so impressed by it. They're like, oh my god, I've been floored. And that's fine. But I think people are misconstruing why Guerrilla Games were impressed. And to be honest with you, the biggest thing that they were impressed by, from what I can see in the in the tweets, is really gameplay. There were a lot of people that were talking about, oh, the graphics look better than anything that Guerrilla Games could do. Let's not get it fucked up. Guerrilla Games made that engine, that the Killzone, Shadowfall, and the old Killzones for PS3. They just modified it for this generation, and they made Horizon Zero Dawn, which is one of the best looking games of all time. So, I mean, people don't understand. You still have art. You can have a very, very proficient engine, like the Cry engine, and still have shitty looking games. So, in this particular case, there were people saying that, Guerrilla Games didn't know what the fuck they were doing with their engine. And, and it's like, no, it's not that they don't know. If you really look at their tweets, they're talking about they were impressed by what they saw gameplay wise. That's really more important, and that's what people need to be really talking about, is the actual gameplay. I really want to see that game. And that kind of hyped me. But also, I do want to see MK11, Mortal Kombat 11. So they had like just like a rush of videos and people talking about it, and high level players playing the game. And there's been a lot of changes to Mortal Kombat from Mortal Kombat 10, such as there's no running. I didn't know that. There's no running. The combos are actually, or the move sets are actually a lot less, from what I'm hearing, than the MK10. And people don't know what to make of it. They don't know how to make heads or tails of the situation. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's not bad. I feel like there's a lot of fighting game enthusiasts, fighting game purists out there that they don't give that game a shot. They'll just automatically dismiss Mortal Kombat. I've been hearing things about Mortal Kombat having their own preset combos. You know what I mean? And there's always talk about there's always that jargon, fighting game jargon, where they talk about, oh, it's the it's normals and overheads and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what killed the fighting community. It made it so complex. that people can't even jump in there. And I feel like they need to go. I mean, I know that's blasphemy to say, but I feel like they need to go back to the basics. They really do. You know, and to hear about MK11 going to just normals. If you don't know what normal is, it's not a combo. It's, you know, a standard hit. You know what I mean? And then you have different versions of a normal attack, such as lows, mids, and highs. And you know, I'm not that proficient at fighting games and things of that nature, but I do know of it. I do talk to people that I've talked to people, I should say, that were really big on it. Of course, they are seemingly Japanophiles. They always like the RPGs and everything Japan that comes along with it and stuff like that. And I feel like that kind of clouds their judgment. You know, I mean, Mortal Kombat is first of all, it's the top-selling fighting game this generation by far. It tripled the highest, selling fighting game. And it's not just because of the gore, I don't believe. I believe it's accessible. What a dirty word, right? It is accessible. But I feel like some things need to be accessible. You know what I mean? You make it too complex and people can't join in. You're going to have a very niche, user base. And people are not going to really want to learn all of that shit. And especially in this day and age, people don't have time for all that. I feel like the accessibility is not necessarily about the how easy the game is. I feel like it's how easy it is to get into. You know what I'm saying? So when you have all these inputs and all these buttons and all these techniques and things of that nature, you can still have a very complex game and still have it be very hard to master. I'm rambling on and on. It's been like half the fucking video talk about Mortal Kombat, and I said that was going to be a light talk. But I just want to say it's impressive, from what I can see. They want just with their own, with a simple move set. And it seems so you could kind of, string them together and link them together. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I was having a discussion at the Roundtable podcast. If you don't know, go ahead and check that out. And I kind of said this. I said, you got to liken Mortal Kombat to like a Smash Brothers, or to like a party game to a degree, because it is accessible. And I feel like you can, because they update animations. The animations are really cool. And just the graphics. I feel like, the Japanese lost their ways in terms of, fighting games. Like, fighting games used to look like CGI. Now you can see blocky, character models. The backgrounds don't look that good. Like, Mortal Kombat, bar none, is the best looking fighting game by a mile, by 10 miles from the competition. And it looks like it runs very smooth. It's a very impressive game. No matter, you can dumb it down and say, oh, it's just, it's not a real fighting game or whatever the fucking case is. It's actually, because it's so accessible, it's making the games, for the purists out there that you love, it puts that into the limelight. Because so many people are playing it, and it's like an entry fighting game to a degree that you would need to master. And they changed this game up from what I understand. They've really changed it. So, I don't have too much time on this fucking video. What I want to do is talk about now the subject at hand. So, no one's talking about Dreams right now. And I could totally understand it. It seems like Dreams is like a fucking tech demo, as it seems. Little Big Planet had its own little artsy-fartsy, art style. And it was really good. I actually liked it, you know what I mean? But I don't like 2D games. I don't like side scrollers or anything of that nature. I don't like it. I don't like it. Even if, and I do have Little Big Planet 1 and 2, but even if you look past that, their art direction kind of forced you to make a game to look a certain way. And I get it. There's limitations. Last generation, you only had but so much memory to work with, and fine. So, I knew something was going to change when they made Tearaway. This is Media Molecule. When I made Tearaway, I was like, okay. This is an actual 3D game, and it's competent, and it has decent controls. Because everyone kept saying that Little Big Planet is floaty as fuck, and I don't think it's floaty. It's just how the game. That's just how the game works. But Dreams they released, and they were talking about you can craft things, you know, from scratch. And as lazy as people are nowadays, there are people out there that really, you know, like creating shit. They like modifying shit, and you know, I've been on Twitter and gaming forums, and I bumped into like a screenshot. First of all, it started off with the Roundtable podcast. There were people that kind of showed some screenshots, and somebody made a fully 3D Sonic level, and I'm like, gosh, are you kidding me? But what really blew me away is somebody made the old Tomb Raider games as well. That shit was absolutely insane. The old school PlayStation 1 Tomb Raider games. And I'm like, okay, so now you got my attention. Now I'm kind of looking at that. I'm like, you know what, if people can make that, I kind of want this. And I feel like, by the way, the Dreams engine is going to be expandable. So I feel like, not just backwards compatible, it's going to be like one of those, like, you know, updates where it just seamlessly translates over to the next generation. I feel like that's what's taking them so long, so they can just move this shit over and just be done with it. So that being said, I'm on you know the game you know, forums and things like that, and Twitter, and I bump into PT. Someone recreated PT. Like, I get like an old PlayStation 1 game. Okay, so we know that the engine can do, you know, simple 3D graphics and stuff like that. And I would like to try my hand at, you know, making levels. But somebody really, you got to see it. It's going to be on the thumbnail picture. And then you have to do your own research, because Media Molecule told them to take it down. They said, as much as we love it, our asses don't want to get, you know, caught up in this shit in a world where people are just suing people left and right. But somebody literally recreated PT. Bonkers. Like, I knew that the engine could make, you know, kind of like cartoony stuff, stuff that's highly stylized, but to make something realistic, give me a fucking break. Now you're doing too much. You're doing absolutely too much, in a good way. I couldn't believe it. I mean, like, it's almost one for one. Like, if you would have seen them side by side, it'd be very hard for you to tell the difference. We're talking about chromatic aberration, which is the fringing of the colors. They have it in Bloodborne. Look it up. Just actual, like, packed in detail, the textures, the sound effects too. I was like, come on, shut the fuck up. It's really ridiculous. I have a lot more faith in the game, and really what I was worried about is how hard is it to actually make something in this game. How hard is it literally to make something in this game? That's what I was kind of worried about. Because not everybody's going to use the Move controller or anything like that. Because I do have the camera and I can buy a Move controller, but I'm not going to be sitting there doing that. That's doing too much. And they look like they're trying to make this into like the YouTube of gaming. So, like, if you can have that much flexibility, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So, you guys need to look that up. I think I wouldn't say a sleeper, but I do think that it's going to be, you know, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to pull people in just by you know, the possibilities. People are going to look at it like, I didn't know you could do that shit. Really? But anyway, also, I'm going to say this really quickly, give myself 15 seconds to say this shit, but I am stoked for Days Gone. They have some new clips. I can't wait for that game. I actually want to say that I want that game more than Resident Evil 2. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you liked about the video, what you disliked about the video, and if you liked it, a sub would be greatly appreciated.